Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Becoming Relentless podcast. I am your host, Eleanor McCabe, Team Mahaley coach, posing coach, and IFBB Bikini Pro. And with me is the lovely
Danielle Kustenberger, also Team Mahaley coach and Team Mahaley posing coach. We are excited to take you on this ride with our podcast.
Absolutely. So today we are going to actually give you our best tips for helping your digestion and keeping your waist tight. So if you are currently in prep or you're going through a growth phase, or even if you're in a maintenance phase, the stuff we're going to talk about today is going to help you keep that waist nice and small.
Snatched, baby.
Which is super important for us physique competitors.
We love it, especially for your confidence. But I will say some things that I do now for my waist is not overeating, not eating to the point where I'm super stuffed. That's a big one. I used to eat until I was like pretty stuffed. And like, dude, when you're bloated, you constantly get bloated. Like your waist is going to expand. That's just natural. You keep doing it, so it's going to feel like, okay, we're going to keep our waist here, right? So I like to eat bigger meals, but less often through the day. Or you can eat smaller meals and more often through the day, whatever is best for you and your digestion. But I would say don't eat to the point where you're super stuffed. Allow your stomach to feel full, but not bloated and super out there.
Yeah, so keeping an eye on your digestion, and like she said, whatever works the best for you is what is going to be most optimal for like keeping that waist nice and small. I was the same way, like especially coming off of an 8-month prep last year. I know like going through the holidays, all I wanted to do was like get that feeling of fullness. But if you are coming off a show, if you're reversing, or even if you're like in a growth phase right now, if you're a bikini competitor, especially, I think this will ring true, you should never really be 100% full. And you might be thinking like, what do you mean, Noah? Like, I want to eat till I'm full. And it's like, yeah, girl, me too. But I think to keep your waist small, which is really important for our sport, especially in bikini, you want to aim for that like 85% fullness. Because like Danielle was saying, if you're constantly putting food into your stomach and your gut, it's just going to make your insides expand. It's going to make your waist blow out. So one, I would just say keep an eye on like the frequency of your meals, the volume of your meals, and then also your food selection. So what you're choosing to eat. You don't want to be eating 3 pounds of lettuce every day, like trying to like get that volume.
Heck no.
Like, and also lettuce doesn't have any micronutrients.
Even any vegetables.
Like vegetables really in general are, it depends like person to person, but what we've seen, like I think vegetables are not very digestible for most people. So if you're going to eat them, you should make sure they are very well cooked. Yeah. Do not eat raw vegetables.
No. And if you do like 3 carrots, just kidding, carrots are great. But I'm saying like, dude, don't have 3 servings of green beans all like every day. Like your digestion's going to hate you for that. And then you're going to be like, hey, dude, what the freaking crap is happening to my digestion? I'm pissed. And it's like, well, you're eating so much broccoli or green beans or anything that's going to back you up. Like allow your body to feel lean by eating foods that are more dense. Even in prep, like I know we all want to feel full in prep, but if you can feel hungry, that's part of it. Allow yourself to be hungry. But eating like rice versus green beans, one's going to digest better. One's going to allow you to feel fuller, but the other one's going to allow you to look leaner and tighter all day.
Right. So like you might get 100 grams of green beans, like to meet your carbohydrate needs, and like only 50 grams of rice would be like the equivalent. But that rice is going to digest better, faster, and it's going to provide your body with, honestly, in my opinion, better fuel source. So if it comes down to like, oh, well, I really want the volume of the green beans, like you really need to take a look at how your digestion is and like what truly are your goals. Like, do you want to stay tight right now? Do you want to keep your waist as tight as possible? Then the rice might be the better option here.
Yeah, I will say too, like if you want the green beans, it's your mind. Like your mind just wants to feel full. It's always your mind, right? So like what I do in prep, and this is actually like, I think everyone should do it in prep. It keeps you pushing harder, but it's also kind of toxic. I put the emotional relationship that I have with food aside. So like if I'm in prep, I'm like, okay, Flavor is flavor. I don't care. This is what I have to eat. This is what I'm eating. I get in off season if you're like, okay, I can taste things now. Like I want this, this, and this. Like that's a separate story. Tune into our last podcast if you're there. But but in prep, dude, flavor is flavor. It doesn't matter. Eat the rice, eat the chicken. Don't fill up your food or your body with all these vegetables that are just going to leave you feeling disgusting.
Right. And I would even argue like in off season, because you're eating such a surplus, like you're eating a lot of food, it's probably even more important for you to stay away from like the bolus of vegetables.
Yeah, I agree.
So it just, I guess our main takeaway here is make sure that you're optimizing your digestion with the foods that you're choosing. And you might have to put fact over feeling here. Like you might have to shut off those emotions and look at food purely as how is this going to fuel the performance of my body today?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's also going to take you way further in the sport because when your mind's focused on food, you're focused on food. If your mind's focused on a goal, you're focused on a goal.
Exactly.
That's just the reality of it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Your mental energy is going towards something that is actually conducive instead of just thinking about food.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing that we have always done, but it's super important, is your steps. Personally, like, dude, step count, always awesome. 10K is like what I say is best. If you get more, even better. But one thing that I like to do is I like to start my day with a morning walk, and I know Noah does the same thing. So I'll wake up, I'll drink my glass of water, or I'll take it with me. I get 3 to 4K steps in the morning. I put on a podcast. This is really going to help your digestion, your bowel movements, just relax and get things going. So instead of like waking up and like taking some coffee or any orange juice or or like anything like that, or just sitting down
eating.
Yeah. Oh, that's bad.
Dude, I know some people who do that.
I used to do it. Oh, no.
Actually, Zach does that.
Yeah.
He wakes up, I kid you not, 2 minutes later, I hear him in the fridge. I'm like,
you're like, what you eating? You got some cereal in there? Just kidding.
Well, I take more than 5 steps, bro.
I know. That is funny. I used to do the same thing. And like, although like if it's your routine, like it's hard to break routine,
right,
but you're going to be way better off getting your steps in the morning. It's going to, and fasting.
I mean, if you're trying to like keep your waist tight, if you're trying to pursue a goal in bodybuilding, this is what is going to be like the most
optimal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I will say too, if that's your routine of waking up and eating and you're like, well, I wake up and I'm hungry, really hungry. Dude, I used to be too. Like I'm talking, you could ask Cess. I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, I have to walk and then I get to eat. I used to love to eat right away. And now I like changed my routine. So I'm used to waiting, and it's going to help you be hungrier for that first meal by waiting, getting into this routine of just walking, drinking water, fasting, because fasting is such a big tool.
It absolutely is. Yeah. And I will say, like, I have a couple athletes who I know they work out early in the morning, and I don't like people lifting fasted at all. I just don't think that's conducive to bodybuilding whatsoever. So I have them drink their calories, because most of the time, like, if they're waking up at 4 a.m., they're like, well, I don't want to cram a meal in and then go to the gym because then they feel sick.
Your digestion's literally asleep.
They're bogging their own digestion down. So what we do, like, and if this is you, if you work out early in the morning, then I highly recommend, like, if you can, get easily digestible carbs in, whether that is in liquid form or even just like rice cakes and a protein shake, because
fruit.
Right. And like that is going to help you a ton. But keeping your waist tight in the off season or like in prep or in general, like if you don't work out early in the morning, then try and implement movement before eating anything else, for sure.
It's definitely going to help. And you hit those step count early. It's a win-win situation. But another thing that we both do and we have always done and we have our athletes do is your digestive steps. So like take your greens, take your glutamine, take your GI. Even if you're like, well, my digestion's really good, sometimes we don't know it can be better or that it's off. So these things are just going to make sure your GI tract and digestion is just, your digestive tract is healthy. And especially with, if you're in a surplus or you're eating out or anything within your journey, like it's important to have your GI and your gut super healthy. That affects all of your progress in the gym, within your physique, and your prep, and your off season. It affects how you're progressing.
Right. And I think something important to note too is like, as we've gotten deeper into our bodybuilding and like our views have kind of shifted, because I used to be someone who was like, you don't need greens. But because I now don't really eat my vegetables, like to be honest, vegetables just aren't conducive to my goals right now.
Yeah. I
do implement the green supplement to make sure that I'm getting my micronutrients. So it kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about
agree.
earlier. Just make sure like you're taking these supplements. And like I think Danielle mentioned it, but a huge one that I love for all my athletes to have is glutamine. I think glutamine is just like one of the number one supplements you can have for your gut.
I agree. I've seen so much progress from it. And like it depends, like don't get the Amazon brand. Like, dude, you need to get some real stuff. Like, I know it's like, well, it's more money, XYZ. These things help you. We're not selling you on products, but these things have definitely helped you or helped us and our athletes just have way, way, way better digestion and healthier gut.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Oh, as far as like keeping your waist super tight, do not train your obliques weighted ever, because that's going to thicken them and that's going to give you the appearance. Yeah, that's going to give you the appearance of like a thicker waist. And honestly, like none of the divisions in bodybuilding do you ever want a thick waist. So I just don't understand when I see people doing like the side bends with the plates. Like don't do that.
You know, like, and we get asked a lot, like, how often do you train abs? Never. I don't think I've touched an ab workout in like 5 years, and I won't for the next 5 years either. I do see some bikini girls doing like just different ab stuff, but if you're lifting heavy compound movements, you're using your abs. Like, and if your digestion is great, and if you have great like body fat, you're going to see great ab structure without doing the weighted exercises.
Right. And like if you are going to train abs, do it body weight and like circuit style, stuff that isn't going to thicken them. Because especially if you are like a bikini competitor, you don't want the blocky ab appearance. I know Ashley Kay, like she used to call them her like crispy chicken nugget abs.
Yum.
But she said that like that she was actually getting feedback from judges that it was too much. So like in bikini, you can have too much abs.
Why crispy chicken nuggets?
I don't know. That's just I just remember that's what you call them.
I was like, I don't know how this correlate, but awesome. Awesome. We love chicken nuggets. That's funny. But yeah, that's a really good tip because a lot of people think that training abs is the way to go.
And then I think another quick tip as well. So if you are an enhanced athlete, so if you are on any sort of PEDs, just making sure that you're running the cycle in a smart way to not cause too much growth too quick. Because if you're trying to pack on muscle super, super quick, that's going to affect your waist as well. Yep. Like in my personal opinion, I don't think that is the best way to go about things. If you need to grow slow and steady, caloric surplus, like you don't need to just be blasting yourself with food and PEDs, because that is going to lead to your waist getting bigger faster.
Yeah. And then you're going to be like, well, crap, what do I do? And it's like, well, dude, you kind of got yourself in a hole.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. That's really good. I know a lot of people are going to love that one.
Thanks. What else? Do you have any more tips for keeping your waist tight?
A big one. So I should probably share this whenever on IG, but dude, I used to let my stomach hang, but it wasn't on purpose. I just wasn't aware that my stomach was out there. And it like now I'm aware of like, don't push your stomach out when you walk. Be aware if you're letting yourself like slouch with your back and your stomach, 'cause that's not going to help your waist control or your posture. If you can get good posture, you're also going to have a better waist because you're standing taller. Vacuums, I do them morning and night, even in the off season. So that's super helpful. It's just honestly, for abs, do your vacuums. That's going to be your ab workout.
That's your ab workout. It trains your transverse abdominal, so the TVA. But also with abs, or not with abs, with vacuums, not only does it train your abs, it also helps with core control, like what you were just talking about. So I kind of had the same issue when I was first starting out. I didn't have awareness or control of like what my tummy was doing or what my core was doing. And so getting good at those vacuums, you can kind of almost like, I think of it as like zipping yourself up. Like you can kind of be like, oh, like I'm letting it hang. Like, let me just like zip up real quick.
Yeah.
So being able to do those vacuums, I think that is a huge.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
And they're going to love this. What do you think about waist trainers?
Waist trainers. Oh, gosh.
I know. It's a tricky one.
You know, to be completely honest with you, I think that they're trash. I do have a waist trainer. it's the Slim Tum, and like I'll wear it sometimes during cardio, but to be completely honest, I think that it just helps you sweat. Like it just, to me, it's just like a sweat device.
Yeah.
But like, I think that it gets tricky because if you wear a waist trainer all the time, it can affect your digestion. Like if you're having something pressing on your organs all day, that is going to affect your digestion. And like, that's not what we want. That's the opposite of what we want. And then 2, if you're wearing it all the time, I don't know if you're actually like aware of your core control. You know what I mean? Like I almost think that it's doing the opposite of what you actually want.
I agree with that. So I used to wear one all the time when I was like eating so much food, and it was all like healthier food, like rice, and I was eating a crap ton, right? I wear this waist trainer because it was like a mental thing. I thought it was going to help, but dude, you don't feel. So I would wear it and I wouldn't have any core like control because I would still be pushing out, but I didn't know I was pushing out with my stomach because I was wearing the waist trainer. So now that I don't wear one, I'm able to mentally know if like I'm keeping my core tight because I'm aware of it.
Right. So I think that is kind of like the key right there is like if you do choose to wear a waist trainer, I would recommend not eating or not wearing it around your meal times so that it doesn't affect your digestion, but also just almost using it as a tool to teach yourself how to correctly brace or how to correctly press against it instead of just like wearing it to wear it. I think there's a different intention. Like, what is your intention with wearing it? Because obviously we've seen all of those there's those really crazy transformations on like YouTube of like women who waist train and they get it super, super small. But also like they have health issues because their organs and like their diaphragm, like, and to me that it's just like risk reward. Like our sport, you don't need to like damage your internal organs.
And I will say, dude, those transformations, it's not the waist trainer, it's their nutrition and everything else they did along with the waist trainer that changed their physique.
Right.
So like you see these transformations online all the time, like XYZ, like this supplement did this. Dude, no, it was the way they trained and their nutrition and everything else they did alongside that.
Right.
So it's usually not that one thing. It's actually never that one thing that changed their life.
That is a great caveat to point out. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But do you have anything else for digestion and waist training? Or not waist training, waist control?
I don't think so.
No,
yeah,
I don't either. I think
hopefully, that this was helpful. I hope people got something out of this on how to really keep your waist snatched year round.
We like a snatch, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have. Those are like, I gave you all my routine. She gave you her tips and tricks. So use them because they work and just feel better overall.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys feel more relentless than when you first arrived. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Yes.
I hope y'all really enjoyed the podcast today, leaving it feeling more relentless than ever. But we have a few things that we would love to ask of you, so I'm going to give this over to Noah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you could, I know that this is your new favorite podcast. Please leave a 5-star rating and review. Leave any comments and questions below. And make sure that you're sharing across social media so that all of your friends get to listen to the greatest podcast on earth.
And if you have any questions about any topics that we talk about or anything at all, fitness, competing related, anything, we'll hit you back up, Instagram or in the podcast under, if the comment box is there, then we will definitely answer your questions and help you out as best as we can.
But we do have a little incentive that we would love to share with y'all. If you do leave us a 5-star rating and review and then send a screenshot to any of us via Instagram, we'll leave that in the comment section here for y'all. But we're going to start a raffle where 3 people in the first month here, if you leave that 5-star rating and review and DM it to us, you're going to be entered into a raffle to earn a spot on the Team Mahaley team with the 3 of us. Yep. So we'll each be taking 1 new athlete this month, and you'll get a free month of coaching from that.
Full-on coaching.
Free month of full-on coaching.
Full services, everything that you need to improve, and I promise you will not be let down. You will see major progress.
Absolutely. So leave those 5-star reviews, let us know, and we'll talk to y'all again soon.
Have a relentless day.
Bye.